Fake, be who you wanna be, cause what makes you unique is your identity. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity. It's your identity. Yeah. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity, it's your identity. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity, it's your identity. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's what makes up you and me. It's your identity, it's your identity.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome again to another segment of The Other Woman magazine, Peeling Back the Layers. I'm really excited about tonight. We have a woman who is so unconventional in the life that she chose to live as a woman. She does something a lot of women would not even consider or think about doing. And I want you to consider peeling back the layers with The Other Woman magazine. Why do we do it? Who is the woman behind that craft? Who is the woman behind the book? Who is the woman behind the business? We see each other and we see what we do, but who are we? So we're peeling back some layers and we're getting to know who that woman is. And tonight we're peeling back the layers with Kimberly Sue Ferris. And I'm going to bring her on now. I am excited about this one. Okay, here we go. Hey, Kim.
Hi.
How are you doing, Kim?
I am doing good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And you have got the perfect setup, the perfect background for what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't have to call me ma'am. That'd be the last time you call me ma'am. Okay. So this is our first time actually talking. We've talked on Facebook. I know you through your sister. I've met your mom. I've met your niece. And now I'm hearing all these wonderful things about Kim. And as soon as I heard what you do, Kim, I knew a little bit, but I didn't know about the outdoor part. I had to get you on immediately because what you're doing is so unconventional as far as what society thinks a woman should do. And I am going to share that Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures. Before we get into that, introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, my name is Kim Ferris. I live out here in Lubbock, which is in West Texas, in the middle of the dry heat and dust. Very little rain this year. I've been married to my husband, Lance, for coming up on 9 years. I've always had a passion to hunt. my stepdad and my grandpa and uncles and some friends always hunted. And I think back then it might have either been my stepdad's theory, or maybe it was more back in the time I'd get to go fishing and stuff, but he wouldn't take me hunting. But I did get to help like clean the deer, process the deer as I grew up. And I always had that passion that I wanted to do it. I just didn't get the opportunity when I was younger. I went and played some college basketball after high school. And then I joined the Army, got sent to Germany, met a guy,
Wow.
kids. And so we, all that just got put on the back burner. And plus out here in West Texas, I was like, there isn't nothing to hunt out here anyways. It's just desert and mesquite. And from being grown up northern Michigan, I thought it needed trees and stuff and grass, and there wasn't much of that. I moved to Lubbock in 2010, and then I met Lance, and he hunted. And so he asked me if I'd like to go sit with him. I was like, heck yeah. And so when he took me to his place, again, I was sitting there thinking, there ain't nothing out here. I mean, there's where are the animals going to be? I was like, this is crazy. And so the first 2 years I was with him, I just went and sat with him, and I'm like, I want to do this myself. I've been wanting to, and I want to do it myself. And so I started off with a crossbow and harvested my first deer, which is this feller right here. That was my
You actually, what's the correct term? So you actually, how do I say it? What word did you use? What term did you use?
Harvested. So you a lot of people when you're hunting, some people will be like, I killed a hog, because I don't like hogs. They're a very invasive species, but like the deer and the elk, or most say you harvested it because you just didn't kill it just so I could have this up on the wall. We eat our meat. We sometimes will take it to a processor, but we also will process our own meat at times as well. So
okay. Wait a minute, Kim. Yeah. So you not only harvest, you eat. You actually eat it.
Yes, ma'am.
So right now you probably have a freezer full of deer meat or whatever else.
My husband actually cooked some Axis deer meat this evening, which is some of the best. It's called an Axis deer. So
what does it taste like? For those of us who have never had deer, what does that taste like?
Okay, well, I think it a lot depends on different things, what they're eating. And then the second biggest part is how it was processed. And then the big number is who's cooking it, because we grew up on venison, and I've had people cook venison, which would make me not to want to ever eat it again. So it really depends how you process the meat and how you cook it. I got quite a few good recipes that you would never know it was venison or deer unless I told you. I mean, there's not a taste, but like there's a little gamey taste, but like with the Axis deer, nothing. It doesn't even smell like venison. It's in more protein and more healthier than anything you could buy over at the grocery store. It's not injected.
Okay. So Kim, let me ask you the question that viewers who don't know you probably want to know, and that's the big why. Okay. First of all, how old were you when you started hunting? You said you started with your stepdad? Well,
no, I didn't get to hunt with him. I'd go fishing, but I was in the garage probably peeling hair off a deer and helping.
How old were you?
Probably 8, 7 or 8.
How did you feel at 8 years old, being a little girl and peeling hair off of an animal? You've obviously had seen it done before, so you were comfortable with it.
I loved the stories, and my stepdad was an amazing storyteller. And I mean, you were wore out helping him drag that deer out, you know what I mean, through the snow. And I mean, he'd just make you feel like you were right out there with them during that whole hunt. You were cold, you were tired, your back was hurting, it just, I always just wanted to do it. And whether it was his storytelling or just listening to the stories. And then we had a buck pole up there in Mansalona, Michigan. I mean, I'd go down there every year, and still to this day, I will watch the Mansalona buck pole via live stream when I'm at work. I turn on all the time for the 2 days that it's going on down there. I love it.
Wow. Wow. Now, for the average woman, the ordinary woman watching this, it is a wow factor, because we will go to the grocery store and buy our meat, but you'll go out there and harvest a deer. So what about the fear, Kim? Did you have any fear the first time you harvested one, or what was the first animal that you did harvest?
My first one was this guy right here.
Okay. Wow.
He was a big old 10 point. I shook. I was shaking. It's like an adrenaline rush. And I think if you lose that, you probably ought not to be out there anymore. If you can, some people can control it better. I can control it some, but I still, when a beautiful animal comes out in front of me, you just can't help it. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing, and you're thankful and you're grateful, and you put in all this hard work. It isn't like, you got a picture you'll show later. It's not like you just go out there and pew and you're done. I mean, it's hours of work. And out here in West Texas, we're allowed to feed and bait. So it's not just, me and my husband, we go down about every 4 to 5 weeks and we fill the feeders. And one reason we do that out here is because during a drought like we have right now, if we didn't feed them, they would have no protein or any, they would lose a lot of stuff because there's just nothing growing. So some people who don't hunt over bait or think that it's just an easy target, it isn't so. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed a buck. And there's all kinds of different hunters. I'll admit I'm a trophy / meat eater. We like to manage our deer. We want mature deers. We want this guy right here to pass his seeds to the, next generation. We'll take some cull bucks, and those are ones that are 3 or 4 years old that aren't going to be any bigger than what they are.
How big was the one you first?
He was a 10 point, but we would say, so can I excuse myself 1 second and I'll give you a demonstration?
Sure. So I'm thinking when she says 10 point, well, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. I have no idea. I'm
going to do this for a demo. And I blinged this one up. Isn't she handsome?
Wow. Is that one that you harvested also?
Yes, ma'am. So out here in different places, so here's your point. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then over here you have 1, you got like a little part of a 1. He would probably count. He would hold a ring. So this would be a 9 point. But now like up north, a lot of them would say they don't count the brow tines. So they would say it's a 4, they call them a 4 point. They go by how many points are on a side. So I would call this a 9. So the first one I got was a 10. But
okay, so what's the highest number
that I've gotten?
Yeah, well, what's the highest number that you can get?
Whatever. So there's some places that have like game ranches and stuff. I wouldn't go pay 10 grand to shoot a whitetail. So I'm not going to pay to get some freak that has 30 points on them. If one came trotting by my blind that maybe escaped from somewhere, which would have to be far away because we don't have a lot of game ranches down in this part where I'm at in Texas, I would shoot it, but I'm not going to go pay. But some of those places have some freakoids, and some places anywhere can have a crazy one. You might see one with 20.
Okay, so does the points have anything to do with the weight or the age?
You can usually, the points do, But another good way to determine the age of a deer is their nose. They start to get like a little hump in their nose, and then their belly drops more. They're not so, firm and taut like we are when we're young. We start sagging.
So
And
who taught you all of this, Kim? Who taught you all of this?
I mean, I've learned a lot. I started, so my first year, the first time I went hunting on my own was in 2012. So 10 years ago, I was 42 years old. Or no, 40 years old. I forget.
When
I'm
you
50.
first started, you were 40?
Yeah, I'm 50 now. So 2012, it's 10 years, 48 years ago, 38 years old is when I started. I can't even count. I'm nervous. But
Girl, please, you're doing fine. So,
just learning over the years and what to watch for. Killing one too young, and then hearing about it, that's looks good to me. But my husband's like, that's too young. So he's taught me. My husband's taught me a lot too about what to look for, and just reading, watching videos, other women. I mean, one of the biggest, the women who are wanting to get out and hunt is just astronomical right now. I mean, there's more. There's a lot of great groups out there of women all over that offer great opportunities to get women outdoors more, even in their area, or some of them are big enough where they help in different states and stuff. And that was a bow fishing trip we just did last weekend, and that was amazing.
That one right there?
Yes, and none of us women have went, and none of us have ever done that before, and it was one of the best times I ever had. That was awesome.
Wow. Was that at night?
Yes, you go at night. I mean, you could probably do it during the day, but this outfitter, it was a night hunt. We went about 9 o'clock and got back to the shore about 1 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. That was
there?
Yes, it is. Now that is, I went with another outfit that I met with a group of women.
That is crazy.
Yes, and so I went down to South Texas, and there was a couple girls that came in from Michigan. Actually, drove for that one. That was through another group, though, that I met those other ladies from. So.
Wow. So let's talk about your group, Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures. You love this so much. You started this group. And
yes.
Is the group in Texas? Do they have other groups in other cities and states, or this is yours? This is unique.
And it started out here in Lubbock. I started it a couple years ago, maybe about 2.5 years ago, just before COVID. I started getting a lot of ladies going to a place called the Archery Shack who would set up my bows and stuff for me. And we'd go out there about 2 or 3 times a month and shoot. We had a good group of ladies coming, and then COVID hit. And we had a big outing planned to go to Colorado on a camping fishing trip, shut down. And so it really got put on the back burner, and I really just started bringing it back to life here the last couple of months and getting it going again. I just felt like, and I grew up with brothers, and I've always related better to guys, I guess, or boys, whatever you want to say. My mind's not, I got a gutter mind. Anyway, so I just always got boys. And I love hunting with the guys. I love hunting with my husband, but usually if I go, I'm the only girl, and I'm like, it'd be fun to connect with other women, even if it's just hiking, or fishing, or camping, or something other than just me. And I was amazed. We have another group here called Lubbock Girls Night Out, which is for just a bunch of women that have different businesses or whatever. And so when I started it, I posted it on their Work It Wednesday thing, and I had like 260 girls sign up immediately, join my
goodness.
But like I said, it just came to a halt. And after this last outing that we did just last weekend, we've had almost 70 women join my group just in the last week since that COVID.
Wow.
So,
You know, I wonder, I like the woods. I'm not sure about the animals. I don't know. I've never been really close to one. I'm wondering if there was something like that near me, would I even consider joining? Because sometimes at night when I drive up, because I live in the country, deer are in my yard, you know, and they'll look, they'll be real still and look, but I've never even tried or attempted to get close to one. But the people who lived in this house before had a deer feeder. So I thought about that when you mentioned it, and they had a freezer full of deer meat, you know, when I was checking out the house and everything. So what do you think makes one woman want to go out and do that? I think I would probably try. I think I would have a problem actually pulling the trigger.
I
You
think
know?
some of it is, so like we have a lake house that isn't far from our deer lease where we whitetail hunt. And we have our lake deer off limits, can't do nothing with them. And I think when you're a hunter, I think this is where people they're an animal lover. I love animals. And I'm even
Right.
more of an animal lover with these animals right here. I love them. I'm heartbroken when I see one smushed on the side of the road. I love
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting over that, you know, I'll hear you're killing Bambi, or how could you kill that? And I'm like, well, you're eating a burger. Where do you think your cow come? You know, where's that burger?
Right.
You
Right.
know,
You're right.
as a hunter, we try to do an ethical, you know, kill. You don't want to just go all willy-nilly out there and just think you're going to just shoot. I mean, practice, practice, feel comfortable. And if you don't need to be out there yet. And mistakes happen. Sometimes there's a bad hit. But I think as a
What's a
hunter,
bad hit? What's a
I mean,
bad hit?
you're too far back. And so they might die and suffer. You know what I mean? Instead of,
Okay.
you know, a good hit where they're done in, you know, a matter of seconds or a minute, you know.
Right.
But I think as a hunter, it's the most ethical death that an animal could have. I was talking to a friend of mine that drove from California, and we were sitting up on top of a bluff. We were hunting for hogs for her. She drove from California to go hog hunting with me. And, you know, she said, you know, we're just talking about how we love just watching everything wake up, move. I mean, you feel closer to God while you're out there. I mean, the beautiful sunsets, the chirping of the first bird at sunrise, and then everything starts to go. But she said it really is the most ethical death that you could give them, because they're either going to die of old age, they're going to die of starvation because they lose their teeth and can't eat anymore, they're going to get eaten by something. And what a horrible death is that? You're still alive while your back end's getting eaten off by coyotes or wolves or whatever, wherever, you know, the animals are at. And there has to be some type of conservation to, you know, I mean, look what happened hundreds of years ago with the buffalo. It was just a free for all, and we about lost all that. And hunters take a lot of pride in in conservation and helping keep a healthy herd and supply of animals so everybody can enjoy, either harvest them or go look at them or just enjoy them. You don't have to go out and be a hunter to enjoy what they are, but I think people learn to appreciate hunters just as much. We're just not out there just slaughtering
Right. Well, I'm glad you
stuff just to
shared
slaughter.
it.
10%. There's a few idiots.
Yeah. I'm glad you explained it that way, because now I am enlightened and understand it a little bit more. While you were speaking of that, I was thinking of a friend that I have in Wisconsin who has, I don't know how many acres and cows and chickens, everything that you can imagine is out there. And she said that her love for her cows, even when they have to, I don't know what the word is, yeah, process them. They process their own meat. And so while they're eating that, what she sometimes calls a pet, you know, she gives them names. it's a
Mhm.
greater appreciation than someone on the outside looking in,
Yeah.
saying, how can how can you eat that? But the way you explained it, it makes complete sense. Like you said, they're either gonna die of old age, or so that's the best death that they
And,
could have.
and they have a chance to go. They just happen to mosey by the wrong spot at the wrong time. But um, and I think for some women, someone are like, I don't think I could shoot a deer. That's fine. But they're like, I think I could kill a pig. I'm like, well, come on, let's go. And your mindset's different. So a lot of people out here are farmers and stuff, and they're tearing up the farmland. They're rutting everything up. They uh, they're they multiply like rabbits. It's insane. I mean, I think they have 4 litters a year. So if a mama hog gives birth today, in 3 months, any females in that previous litter is going to be knocked up with their next litter. And there's anywhere from 6 to 12 or more hogs at a time. So it's really hard to get a hold of them, So, and that's fun. We to go thermal hunting at night for hogs or maybe coyotes or something. That's a absolute blast. So,
Wow. So your group, Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures, what's your goal? What's your purpose? Is it to introduce women to outdoor adventures? Is it
yes,
to give women who love the outdoors? Tell
I
us a
want to
little
get
bit more about.
I want to get the women that are interested already or are outdoorsy people in any way,
Uh-huh.
shape, or form to have a place to be with other women that want to enjoy that as well. I want to introduce new people just to get out of their comfort zone to try
Right,
something. Like I said, it doesn't
right.
have to be hunting. It can be any of our opportunities that we're fixing to have out here. And I'm really, really working hard on helping some veterans. I'm meeting actually with the commander, I guess that's what her title is, of the women's veteran group out here in Lubbock. I'm meeting with her Friday, and we're really trying to get a few hunts or trips, whether it might be a hog hunt, it might be bow fishing, or it could be
Okay.
rafting or something. And that trip for them will be 100% paid for. Um,
Wow. For
we
veterans, or for are they targeting, you guys going to be targeting veterans, or?
I want to get more women veterans. There's a lot of programs out there that help veterans, and there's a lot of hunting programs out there that donate hunts to get wounded vets or vets out there to do
Uh-huh.
something they might have loved, or just help them with, their post-traumatic stress and stuff like that. So I want to really try to get engaged with the women veterans here and do some things for them. And we belong to the Dallas Safari Club here in Lubbock, and they want me to do a presentation on that end of it, what I'd like to do with the vets, and they said that they would probably be more than willing to help donate to help pay for some of those
That's
trips.
great, Kim. That is great. Anything that I can do on my platform to help get the word out to veterans, because I'm a veteran, I would be more than happy to help get the word out about Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures and veterans, because that's great. You
Yeah.
would never really think about outdoor activities like hunting or fishing for veterans, but what are some of the other activities that you all do? I know you mentioned archery.
Yes. We're wanting to do some like White River rafting trips, some camping, some hiking. I just asked one of the ladies that actually started out doing the archery part of it, and she really just loved it. And me and her hit it off really good. And I just asked her last week if she would like to partner in with me, because she's done skydiving, the White River rafting and such. And I just think she would bring in another pair of eyes,
Right.
be able to do other things. I'm not going to be able to go on every event, and
Right.
I just think she would be really beneficial. So I'm excited to have Krista come on board and help me. So we're meeting Sunday, and we should have a calendar for a few months out of different things that we're going to be putting together and offer. And we don't do it like, hey, next week we're going to do this, unless something just amazing just landed in our pocket. But most of it will be advance notice where they can do a deposit and then pay it, weekly, or if it's 2 or 3 months in advance, they can pay it out in like 3 installments. And we're trying to do it where it's affordable, the best that we can. So we can all just have fun and save some money in our pockets since everything's so high.
Is it expensive to go on those excursions, on those trips, or it depends on what's
Really
entailed?
depends what it is. And depending if we need an outfitter or not, like with the bow fishing, we needed, I don't have a boat to go night fishing in. So, I guess we could do it from the shore, but it's not as fun as from a boat. So, like one I put together, was $350, and that was included where we stayed. I cooked all the food and brought all the food, and it paid for the outfitter fee as well for each person that fished. The next one coming up, prices went up a little bit even from the outfitter. I guess when I booked him the first time, I got in there before gases went up and stuff. So the next one we offer for bow fishing should be around about $450, and then everything else just depends what the cost is, if, like I said, if it needs an outfitter or not. But
okay. What would you tell a beginner? What would you tell me? Okay, so just talking to you, I like trying new things. I would love to suit up and go out there and at least just try. I love the environment, the woods, the whole hunting, but I've never done it before. So Are there any prerequisites? What would you tell me? It's like, okay, Kim, I want to sign up. I've never been hunting before. Would you even allow me to go? Do I have to take some kind of lessons?
I would ask, how are you wanting to hunt? Are you wanting to rifle hunt or bow hunt? I'm 99.
I don't know. I don't know the difference.
So I shoot a bow and arrow, a compound bow. That's what I shoot. So I have to wait for something to get in 20, 30 yards before I can take a shot. If you're a rifle hunter, you can shoot from 100 yards and further out. So first I'd ask, since you probably don't have, if you wanted a bow hunt, you'd definitely need to go practice and probably get a bow, because all bows are specifically designed. You couldn't pull my bow back. I couldn't use your bow. Our draw lengths are different. That's their whole story. So let's just say, okay, Lavender, do you know how to shoot a gun? I would hope so, since you're in the military. So we'd probably put you on an AR. I'd have you, we'd probably go out to a shooting range and have you shoot a few just so you can get back into it again. And if you're hitting good, I'd take you out there.
Okay.
But
could I go just to observe? Could I go? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I would take anybody just to go sit, just to get the experience. Because like I said, even if you don't feel comfortable pulling a trigger or shooting with a bow, it's just amazing just to sit out there and it all.
Yeah. To even hear the wildlife, that would be exciting to me, just to be out there with them, because you don't know what's around you.
No, I've been sitting up there, and there's armadillos out here in Texas, but where I'm at, there's not many. And I've been out in my blind, I don't know how many years. And last year, I'm like, what is that noise? And I could hear I'm looking around, and so there's a little armadillo just, we're watching the quail. Those are the funniest little quirkiest birds you ever seen. Or you might see a coyote just pass out over yonder, or you'll see the deer out playing in the snow. On the rare occasions we get snow, the yearlings are out there just jumping around, and, like little kids would. It's just amazing, all the stuff that you don't get to see when you're sitting behind a TV in your house.
You're right about that. You don't get to see it in the city either.
No.
So you live in a world that is completely foreign to a lot of women, to a lot of men and women. So how can one find, they're in the Texas area, how can they find your group on social media? How can they learn more about your group and the activities that you offer?
They can go to our Facebook page to Charmed Women Outdoors Adventures. And they're also, I mean, in different parts of Texas. If you just Google, or if you're interested in starting to get into archery, I would highly recommend go to your local archery dealer, not the big box brands, because they tend to take care of you better and care about you more personally than the big dollar. And just go talk to them. And if you're in the archery shack, or even if you decide you want a rifle hunt, go to your local gun dealer, and I promise you there's a hunter or two, or they can point you in the direction to say, hey, you know, I want to start doing this. I'm sure there's groups and outings and stuff just about anywhere. You can find somebody that'll help you. But if you want to, you don't have to be just here in Lubbock, Texas to join our women's group. You might be passing through, or be like my friend out in California, Jody, that drove, 24 hours to come hog hunting, and we had a blast. And that's what it's about. I don't even know, I think the bonus is when you get to harvest the animal, but the fun stuff happens while you're waiting. I mean, especially if you hunt with somebody. I mean, you laugh. Me and Jody laughed so much. I didn't even think we could shoot something.
I'm laughing just thinking about it.
You're just sitting there. Go ahead. I was saying now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How far? Let me ask you this, because I just left Texas to see my grandbabies. How far is it Lubbock? You said where you are?
I'm in Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock. How far is Lubbock from Killeen or Fort Hood?
I would say, just a second, let me double check. But I'll tell you, Texas is so big, as you know.
Yeah, it's humongous.
It takes you 20 days just to get out of Texas. I'm teasing, but it takes.
I know. How did you end up in Texas? You're from Michigan.
Well, when I joined the Army, so it's 5.5 for, is it Killeen, Killeen, Texas?
Yes.
5.5 hours.
Okay.
I put down I wanted to go to like Texas, Florida, even California at that time. And then they sent me as far away from Michigan as they could and sent me to Germany. So I met a guy from Midland, Texas, and that was my first husband and the father of my kids. And so when we got out, we moved to Midland because there wasn't much left, up there in Mansalona for me. So I just stayed out here. I love it out here. So
Texas is a great state. It really
is.
A
state, and here, I love it. I don't think I miss home. But I don't miss the snow. But I miss the seasons a lot of times. Our goes from blowing dirt to sucking in 109-degree weather.
Wow.
With no humidity. But
so, do you have any other hobbies or interests that are not outdoors?
Yes. I want to say one more thing before we go off the outdoor part is I also, from that hunt that I went on for the ram, I met a lady from Michigan, came down, and I didn't realize she was in cahoots with, it's called Extreme Brothers Outdoors Television. And they're really wanting to cater and push more toward getting women out there, children and veterans out there. And I don't know what I did to impress her or put an impression on her, but they reached out to me. So I'll be they're going to start filming, I think, this hunting season. So
girl, get out here.
Everybody posted on that. I told him, I was like, I'm no spring chicken anymore. I'm 50.
Oh, please, Kim.
But I can't do sports much anymore because my knee. I make jewelry. I bead and then you saw my beadwork. I like to do this on some stuff.
Yes, I did. I saw you. So you make jewelry out
Mhm.
of some of the,
Out of the antlers.
wow. And you sell those.
Yes.
Okay, so you like making jewelry.
I just like to piddle. I have to stay busy. And then
Uh-huh.
you watch the grandkids play soccer, sing, and then I got my daughter Casey Marie's fixing to have a grandbaby next month.
Oh, really? Well, let's talk about your family a little bit. So how many children do you have?
I have two. I have a son named CJ. He's 28. And then my daughter's Casey Marie, and she's 24, and she's married to Cameron. And then I got two amazing bonus kids. Dylan, he's 29 or 30, I forget. He'll probably get mad at me. I think he's 30. But he's a singer, songwriter. He's amazing. And then my bonus daughter, Shayla, she's 36 and has three kiddos. And Jake was 5 when I met him. He's 17, so he graduates next year. Sky is
Wow.
12, and then little Declan is 6, and he's a ham and keeps us busy.
That sounds like something else. So you've got your hands full. Now your husband, how long have you been married?
We've been together for 11 years, and we'll be married 9 years this August.
9 years this August. So happy early anniversary. And you just seem to, you got the perfect man because he likes to hunt. He loves outdoor activities, right?
Yes, Andy puts up with my craziness.
So do you all ever just together outside of your group? Do you guys ever go out and hunt or fish together?
Me and my husband?
Yes, just you and your husband?
Yes. He's not as big as on fishing as I am, but yeah, we go. He's my hunting buddy. We do our whitetail. We do mule deer hunts together. We went antelope hunting together.
So is that like a date night for you all? Would that be like a date night?
I'd rather go do that or go scout, go look for things and go eat out at a fancy restaurant. That's what I like to do.
He is probably a happy man.
Most days.
So he hit the jackpot also with you.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go back to the TV. You skimmed over it really quickly. So did I hear correctly? You said you're going to begin filming. Explain a little bit more about that.
So they're going to start filming this hunting season. So
who is they? Who is they?
Their name is Don and Ryan. They're the ones who started it. So we should be getting an itinerary of hunts that we might like to go with them on. And it'll be filmed. If I got a big hunt here, they might send out a camera crew. Some of it I'll be self-filming, which that should be fun because I've never done that
for television. For television?
Yes.
That's great.
And they're wanting to do it more like, a lot of the hunting shows now, there's really nothing with women on it. A lot of it just shows you packing up, sitting in a stand, and then you're going to smile by your heart, the animal. So they're kind of wanting to show what actually goes into it, which is packing up, sitting forever. It's something that you're at the right spot at the right time and it all comes together. And that's what it really is. When all your hard work from the time hunting season's over, me and Lance start for the next year already, like I said, feeding and all that stuff. And so we put in a lot of hard work, hours, money into the feed. And so when everything comes together, it's just overwhelming. And you're just, I tell people I don't know if there's any words to really describe how you feel in that moment. When you might pick out a certain one that is your goal for that year or whatever, and just everything comes together. Or so to a golfer, you have a good day and a bad day, but it's the same with hunting. I could take you, and that doesn't mean you're going to see anything. You could take me somewhere and you're going to see anything. you want to, but it doesn't always happen that way. So when everything comes together, it's just, you can't explain it. You can say all these, words like, man, I'm just blessed, amazed. I can't believe it. I'm thrilled. I'm happy, but you can't even put into words how you feel in that moment, or how I feel. Like, I'd be tickled pink. You would have thought that I shot your pig if I took you pig hunting. I mean, I get that stoked for somebody else. On an elk hunt in Colorado a few years ago, I didn't get my elk. I saw plenty. I was a bow hunter, and it's just your chances go down a lot. But this young kid, he was 21, 22. He shot one. Hell, you would have thought I shot that thing. I was just so excited for that young,
Your passion comes through. I can tell you're just full of excitement. This is truly your adventure. You are living, as they say, your best life. You're doing what you enjoy doing. So when you go hunting, how many hours are you out there?
I mean, our season starts
early in the morning, right? Like before.
Sometimes. Now, when you asked, I don't like still, and I've been doing it for a long time. I still don't like walking in the dark. I only have to walk like 150 yards to my blind from the road. And it's the longest 150 yards ever. I can walk in there any other time and no problem. But when it's dark and you hear a blade, I mean, if you hear a blade of grass, you think that there's an elephant behind you. Just blow up and you're looking. And then where we hunt, there's cows there. And I'll be darned if those cows ain't there. And they're,
Wow.
So I like it when my husband doesn't hunt in mornings anymore, but I like it when he does, because I'll get to ride on the side-by-side and he'll drop me off and I feel all cozy because I can hear the noise of the machine going down the fence line. But one morning he dropped me off, and so I'm like, walking my 25 yards to the blind now. And he dropped me off, and I had my little flashlight, and I look up, and there's a big old hog, I don't know, 15 yards from me, and I'm like, I kind of look over the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I look like a gazelle. I was at my blind in like 3 hops there, up the ladder. It was crazy.
A hog, that's a wild hog. A hog can attack. Will they attack, or are they going to run?
Most times the animals are more scared of us than we are of them. You know what I mean? But there's some, he was not scared. I got up in that blind and I could hear him grunting and circling down there. That's the first time I ever had it. My husband tells a story. He went hunting with these guys before, and there was an older gentleman, and the older guy shot at a hog. It was a sow. And usually the sows are the ones that'll charge you if they have their babies, so they get protective. So he shot at this sow, and that sow just come charging right at him. And that old man just jumped. And after everything was over, he was like, how close was that sow to me? And they're like, that sow could have stood on its tippy toes and it still wouldn't have. That old man got some air.
Now, so you can have a woman out there screaming. You know what I'm saying?
There ain't no screaming.
You invite a woman out there who's never been, for me, for example, never been in that kind of environment, but I'm interested. I want to go. Girl, if I didn't know anything about it and I got that close to a hog, I would probably be screaming and running or looking for a child.
I'll let you scream if the hog gets that close to you. But here's the thing to remember.
The one that got close to you, why didn't you shoot it?
Well, he did shoot it, and he just couldn't get another shot off. For me, I'll carry my black powder, a 6-shooter with me, but I'm a bow hunter, so it's something charged me. But the thing you have to remember when you're out hunting with somebody or a group, you only have to outrun one person. So if you can outrun anybody in the group, you'll be okay.
Okay, I'm looking at some of the comments. I completely forgot to look at the comments, but I'm going to read some of them too. Can you see some of the comments?
Let
Of
me
course,
get over.
your sister Sandy is watching. Um, oh, Rosie Shedrick says she would love to fish. Something for everyone. I'm afraid of anything moving, so she would not need to be going anywhere with you. But you know what, Kim, I want to show some of these pictures again, and I want you to continue to share more about one particular picture I want you to explain, though. What is that picture about? That I laughed when I saw that on your page. What are
Well,
you all looking at?
just one second. Let me get you. So that, like I told you, it's not like on TV where you just go out and sit and pew pew. No, that is after sitting in the box blind, which is actually an old semi. That's what it comes to. We were waiting for a hog, and we saw lots of deer and lots of everything, but not the hog. And we were hot, hot, hot. That's what that picture is. That's what hunting actually looks like. So when you asked about how many hours, I mean, with her, I probably sat, she was here for a weekend, and we probably sat 15 to 18 hours. And that ain't including when we went hog hunting at night with the thermal. So we probably had 20 hours in between a Friday and Sunday night. So that's what that picture is. And that was my friend from California, Jody. And she's amazing.
Okay, let me go back to, I lost
And
you
it's
for a
the
minute.
camaraderie that, you know, you get out there, the friends you make. And I mean, it's just amazing.
Wow. Look at this one here now. I know who this is, but explain this picture.
Oh, that's my mama.
That's your mom.
Yes, that was up when she was up in Michigan still. But yeah, she can fish. She likes to fish too, and she loves venison meat. And she will go sit. I will take her out on a bluff sometimes. She loves to go take pictures and stuff. But she wouldn't shoot a deer. She doesn't have a desire to unless it's with her camera. But supports me and loves when I get the chance to take her out. Just even go sit on a bluff and look around and stuff. And her and Walt will go up to where we hunt mule deer, and they might sit in their car and watch, and they'll text me, hey, one's coming in over here or something. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so that is, what is that, like a lesson?
Yes, I gave there's a women's group here that does I forget the name of it. I don't want to misspeak. But they're the chapter, and they're a nationwide group. And the lady that heads up the one here asked me if I'd like to give a bow class. So I took over all my different bows and gave a class on that. And then at the end of it, I let them shoot the crossbow. That was what I first started out with. And this was my friend Felicia that I met just a couple months ago. She's from Michigan. She has an amazing, amazing outfit, and she is all nonprofit, and she is just one heck of a lady. And that's the one that invited me to do the television show.
Okay, cool.
And that was through another group. That was another big. That was my first deer I got with my compound bow.
He's huge.
Yeah, he was a dandy.
How heavy? How heavy?
He was probably, that one, he probably weighed 190 to 210, somewhere in there. He was an old.
So if it's a bunch of women that go out, you guys pick him up and what? You put him in your truck or?
Well, you would gut him first. So that
you got him right there.
Yeah, so that would take some of the weight off. And I have drugged deer by myself. Yeah, and then you load it up on the floor.
So you not only cook it, you harvest it, you process it, gut it. My goodness, you do it all. I'm just going to the grocery store, okay? Good gracious. I just love these pictures. That's a beautiful picture right there.
Yeah, and that's a ram I took with my bow. That was a hard one. And that was this lady, Carrie. I met her at our glass shop and a few months ago when she joined my Facebook page, and I reached out to her and asked her, hey, do you want to go do this? She was like, heck yeah. So she came.
Wow.
Her boyfriend just moved from Seattle.
You've got the personality for this also, Kim. You know, you just seem like you just have no fear of anything, and you seem to be a people person. Okay, what's this one? I don't know if they can see that one, but these are
This was the same when I shot that other ram, and this one, this was insanity. My legs were already so sore, as you can see all those rocks there, and
yeah.
it wasn't a mountain, but to me it was. It was a steep hill out here in the hill country, and I walked up and down that thing I don't know how many times the day before, about 2 hours, and so I got an opportunity to take another one. And the guy with the rifle, and that's his son below him, the dad was gonna bow hunt, and so he shot first, and we got his, and they're like, we'll just tag along with you. And I'm like, okay. And the guy with the beard and the black, he was our guide. So I shot mine, which you see there, a perfect lung shot. So we all sat down and waited 15, 20 minutes, and then to go down to see where it was at. And he was still standing and eating and doing stuff with his other little goat friends. And up the mountain he went again. So we had to go up there.
Wow.
Another arrow in him through the other side of the lungs. And he went back down the mountain. And it took 3 arrows, a rifle shot, 3 handgun shots, and a knife to kill that goat. It was the most craziest thing. If you weren't there to see it, you wouldn't believe it, because I wouldn't have believed it if somebody told me that story.
Oh my goodness. Now
I think that was my first little piggy that I shot, and that was with my crossbow.
okay, you're calling it little piggy. It looks like a big wild hog.
That one's a little one.
Oh my goodness. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be going. I am. I would.
That's my brother. My brother Jason. He retired as a cop from Cadillac, Michigan, and he came down in January, and he wanted to go hog hunting, and he got 2 hogs. That was the second one, and that he shot from the same blind that you saw me and my friend Jody just like that in. Jason
Look
shot.
at his snout. It's huge.
That was an old hog. Yep, he was doing a lot of damage out there.
Wow. Well, you know what? I just have to say, I am impressed is not the word. I admire you. I'm so happy I know you. Now you're going to be on TV. If I ever see, make sure you put all of this on your Facebook page so we can keep up with you and follow you. Okay. Yeah, because I would love to be. I know that girl right there. I know Kim Ferris.
I can just at least take you out on a bluff so you can take a peek and see what's going on out there. You don't have to shoot nothing. You just go sit out there with me.
You know, I don't have a problem shooting. I think if I saw the animal, the deer or the whatever, I would probably be so stunned that I'm actually looking at one and that close to it. I would forget why I was out there. You know?
Yeah.
Like, okay, my God, I would just be so amazed that I'm actually seeing something that close. Even though I see them in my yard, they're still from a distance. I've never been close to one. So I'm sure you're an inspiration to a lot of women, and as close as some of them will ever get to outdoor activities will be your Facebook page. We'll be watching you and looking at the pictures. But
I appreciate you having me on, and I've always heard a lot about you through my sister, so it's really nice to get to talk to you.
Yes, you also. My pleasure. And as we close, tell them one more time of how they can find Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures on social media.
You can find us on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, and it's under Charmed, WOA, or you can just follow at Kim_Ferris on Instagram. Other than that, we hope to see you, and if you're even from another state, hop on in there, and if you happen to be moseying through Texas, holler and see if we can get you on something or do something anyway.
That's wonderful. Thank you again, Kim Ferris of Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures. She started that organization, and I want to encourage you all, if there's anything that you're interested in, you know, I always say we only have one life. We only have one life. So find something that you enjoy doing. Don't be afraid to start an organization, start a group. That's how I started my magazine, The Other Woman magazine. It was something that I had a passion for, and I started it. So you may be next on Peeling Back the Layers, and we want to get behind the scenes of the woman. Who is the woman behind the makeup, behind the book, behind the craft, behind Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures? So this is one more woman that you know, that you've never heard of, that's doing some great things. Please follow her Facebook page, Charmed Women's Outdoor Adventures. Even if you don't want to ever go outdoor or be a part of this group, just support her and follow her. And I believe you've got some great things coming up, the whole filming and television. Proud of you, Kim. Glad I got a chance to meet you. And just keep up the great work. And if I don't ever see you outdoors, I'll see you on social media. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you take care. And I want to recognize our sponsor, attorney Robert C. Allen. Thank you guys for joining us. And we'll see you on the next segment of The Other Woman magazine, Peeling Back the Layers.
Bye.